All right, hello and welcome to the Southbound Sports Show. I'm your host, Richie Leahy, here with my co-host, Matty B. Lost my voice, went to the Lenovo Center. They call it the Lenny, which I think is like funny because like who comes up with names for a stadium like that? But they had the watch party there for the Hurricane Stanley Cup finals because it was in Vegas. And I wanted to go to hopefully the deciding game no matter what. And I had a really good feeling that they were going to win. And it worked out because it's been so hot. I really didn't want to be stuck outside, right? If I couldn't get tickets, because they were going through the roof. I know they were talking about the Knicks tickets being so high. Yeah, that's what happens whenever you have a bunch of celebrities hanging out. I don't know if you saw that. Like the one lady from one of those law shows ran out on the court and was like in the team huddle after the one win. I thought, why? Well, who's that for? Like, could you imagine you're like celebrating with the boys, you look down and there's like some like small actress and you're like, oh, what are you doing here? Like, I guarantee if Taylor Swift had done that in like the Chiefs huddle, there would have been mayhem. But instead I saw a bunch of people like making memes about it. Like, yeah, she's been working in the city for so many years. I'm like, it's a fake TV show, you idiots. He's not working in the city. It's a fake TV show. It's not like Cops, right? Wasn't that like when they used to have like the body cam? Bro, they can never have that show now. Could you imagine? I mean, I'm sure they do. Last time I watched one, it was like old grainy footage. It's like watching World Cup on Telemundo. It's like, don't they think Spanish speaking have like 4K TVs, dude? Because the resolution's so small that I was watching it and people were like, you know, why are we watching this in Spanish? I'm like, because it's free. You have the antenna. Why would I pay for Fox Sports 1 for the World Cup? Like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not listening to the announcers tell me about soccer anyway, right? As an undefeated soccer coach.
You're using that as your Spanish immersion software.
Yeah, like I'm undefeated, bro. I don't need some random dude telling me what soccer is. So let me listen to it in Spanish. Plus, they're more hyped. You can yell they yell like goal super long. That never happens in the American broadcast. It's always like ex-soccer players and everything is about them. Where it's like, yeah, 90. I had a goal just like that. Qualifier against, who knows, the blind school we were playing as a warm-up. I headed it, 30 feet out. Sweet. I'm like, awesome, dude. No one cares. We want to know if the United States even has a chance. And the United States surprisingly looked good. And the coach kind of reminded me of like a Russell Crowe. He's like wearing like this like jumpsuit. He's like, I don't even know where he's from, Argentina or something. And I thought, this is the guy. The United States have been hiring like these European dudes to come in and try to get the team. We need a laid back American. I don't care if he's from South America. We need an American related adjacent man to come in with some swag and have the boys like passing the ball. Yeah. So he's out there hanging out. I saw him go out to the other coach because you see these other coaches, they're like hugging on each other. And our coach just like, so gave him like a half high five. I was like, bro, this guy he could be a surfer for all I know. Like, he's not even paying attention. And then the announcer came over, or one of the officials came over, and he's like, all the other coaches I've seen, I've just been like yelling at the officials. Our guy just like gave him like a head nod and just walked away. Like, yo, we got this. Who are we playing? I don't even know. Who do we play? It was like Paraguay or something. He's like, yo, we got this. We're out. And then running the score up. Normally, every other United States game I watched, we play so tight. And it's like, we're going to win 1-0, or it's going to be a draw because we're going to sit there and score one goal and then we're going to play defense for 90 minutes. And instead, he's running the score up. There was no time left and our guys are still shooting and scoring at the buzzer. And I thought, man, this could be good, right? I don't know how high the United States would be ranked. I guess right now I'm looking at the list, they'd be 14th. And they played way higher than that. Like, Spain was ranked number 1. Spain looked horrible. Was it England didn't impress me? I saw that they were like complaining about the heat or something. And I thought, good for them. Right?
Can't handle that American heat.
Yeah. The other thing that annoys me is the marketing campaigns. Have you seen these social media ones where they had that guy, Freddie or whatever, that was like taking pictures of all like advertising things like Buc-ee's, and they were like trying to promote him, and JJ Watt's tweeting at him, and then they're saying like, this guy is just like a marketing ploy. And I noticed, I looked at his account because I thought, is this a marketing ploy? I don't know. But I noticed that like they didn't have any picture of themselves. Right? It was just like all these places like, yo, go to Buc-ee's. Yo, listen to this pop star on the radio, country music, whatever. And then it was like, yo, I went here, like eat this food. And then like random, if big superstars are like saying, hey, you should go here. And that account is only interacting with like major like superstars that, you know, if I went ahead and did a road trip, JJ Watt would never be tweeting at me. Right? That would never happen. I would have to like insult his family to get him to like fired up to the point where he's like, I'm going to murder you if you come to Houston. Right? That'd be the only way that I could get an NFL player to say like, yo, come hit me up, bro. I'll show you Houston. Right? So fake. I think it's fake. Until I see the guy, and like, even if it, I mean, it could be a German guy. We don't know, but you don't know if he works at a marketing company, right? They could have did like an international thing where these guys come over. Because then I saw there was a Canadian one where the guy was coming down. He was like trying different meats. And I thought, bro, that's like my life. Driving around eating different meats. I don't need to pretend the World Cup's there for me to do that. Right? Brisket. And then some of the people were like, yo, in our country, we only eat like buttered bread. What's this real food you guys have over here? No wonder you guys are fat. It's like, yeah, bro. We're not just eating random, like plain garbage. I don't know what to tell you. But then I don't even believe that they're there. Because then I did see some models from some of the countries were going around and they were complaining that they were like, look, here's pictures of me wearing almost no clothes, like at these soccer games, and no one's promoting me. Like JJ Watt's not tweeting me. When in real life, that's all JJ Watt would be tweeting at. Right? He's probably in those DMs immediately. He's not hooking up with some German guy, giving him a ride around town in Houston. That's how I know. Right? And I'm calling him out because I saw that and I was like, man, what a joke. What a joke. Just like Taylor Swift at the Knicks game. I don't know. Is she a Knicks fan? I don't know. I don't care. But I already see her at the Chiefs games. I don't need to see her at other games. Show me Jerry Seinfeld, bro. I know he's a New Yorker. Him and Larry David were there. They barely showed them. I don't even think I saw them on TV. They showed like these other guys, like, eh. And then they were saying, like outside the stadium, there are people fighting. Luckily, I didn't see that down here in Raleigh. Right? People fighting after the Hurricanes win. Because I said, I wonder if they'll start tipping cars. Right? Like in Philly, people climb the poles and like start fires and stuff. I'm like, oh, this could be good down here. Right? Parade on Saturday. Stanley Cup. Stahl got it done. Last time he won was with the Penguins like years ago. So that was big time. Because I thought going from having, and that's where the investment comes from. Because I did a little research into the Hurricanes because I don't know if it was right before COVID or whatever, they were looking for a new owner. And the NHL had kind of hinted like, yo, we could just move the team. Which is always like the main thing that they try to do to get like additional potential buyers from like other random places. Like, you know what? I do want a team in my own like little town here. Like Oakland Athletics. Like we can move them wherever. Have a new owner come in and buy it. And so the fact that Raleigh was able to double down, and I think they said as part of like the new merger with Lenovo that the owner ended up spending more of his own money to get the stadium up to spec, where they're trying to get more of the actual NHL events down here. Because a couple years ago, I think it had to have been, maybe it was pre-COVID and it was years ago, but they had the outdoor game down here at the Carter Finley, NC State's football stadium. So I went to one of the events they had for that. It was like the college hockey game, which was nice. And so I thought, man, if they can keep getting investments, that would be big. Because Raleigh tried to get Major League Baseball, which I'm still not, like, I wouldn't be surprised if Raleigh ended up pulling it off, because the main thing is, I guess baseball has a rule where you can't have a minor league team so close. And with the Durham Bulls being there and having like a legacy minor league, which is like, they're one of the major, because of that movie in the 80s, they're one of the only minor league teams that I think most people across the United States would know. Like, you know, your local teams probably from like driving by them, but like I couldn't name if there was a team in California, right? I would have no idea. But Durham Bulls gets enough attention that they were one of the ones that were kind of pitching in. So then they were saying, like, maybe we could just become the major league team. And so there's been some fighting there. And now there was another minor league team near the city that ended up moving out, the Mudcats, that I went to a bunch. And I think we had it on our YouTube or whatever, a couple of their games, because they had like some funny events and stuff on there. But they moved out, which was one of the stumbling blocks. And so the fact that they moved outside of the range makes me wonder if Raleigh is going to do that pitch as part of like the Hurricanes. Because now you have one team selling out. Well, I guess not even really selling out, because it was more of like a donation thing to get into the watch party. But how many teams could pack a 20,000 or whatever it is stadium for a watch party? Probably not many. I mean, they can't even get people at the games for some of these. And they said 20 years ago, Stanley Cup tickets were like $80, $180 or something like that. Like whatever the range was, it was low. Now there were like 2,000, I said. That's an insane jump in interest, just because of people moving down from the north probably. But then when you move down, like, you can't have people move to your city. And then like my thing all along is like, they talk about having all these cities growth, but you can't have fans move in that already have teams that they like, right? You bring a bunch of like people from New York. If they only show up when the Rangers come to town, that's not a good business model.
Yeah.
Because the other one that they really tried to get was Major League Soccer, because they already have some of the training facilities here for the Olympics, Olympic baseball training, which is where I did my marathon. And they have some swim stuff that gets done here. And I think they did some soccer before, maybe women's soccer, more so than men's. But they really tried to push it. And then MLS was like, no, we want a bigger city. So they put it in Charlotte. And I don't know, I haven't like cared enough to like keep and like follow that. But it's really to the point where just because a team's in Charlotte, it's not really like the Carolina team. It's more like having a team in Philly and a team in Pittsburgh, right, to me. Because like you have the Carolina Panthers, they're set far enough away. They have the Carolina Tar Heel colors. To me, not associated with that. Right? I know that was more of like our high school had the same mascot, same colors, so it was a little bit different. But NC State and the Hurricanes have the same colors. Like that's like the Raleigh color scheme. Much like Pittsburgh has like the black and gold. So having Charlotte, they have no identity. The Hornets are like, I don't even know what color they are. They used to be what, like a teal and purple or something?
Yeah.
Who knows? So I would like to see more, because to me, just throwing a bunch of like super teams in the major cities and then hoping that people watch it, like I've said all along, you kind of have to have the rivalry, which is the one thing that the Hurricanes, yeah, there are teams that like are rivals, but there's no one really close enough in NHL where it's like a super close rivalry game, right? It's always like Florida or like someone else, right? It's like, oh, okay, that's the rival for the NHL, because the NHL map's kind of all over the place. And so I wondered if they would try to bring someone down and put it somewhere closer. But I don't even know where it would be, because like right now you have the Capitals that are kind of close, and then Tampa, or you're going all the way to Florida. Nashville.
Unless you go in Virginia, maybe.
Well, yeah, you could go maybe into Virginia, but then do you want another team there? And where would you put it? Richmond? It would almost be more, I don't know if you put it in Charlotte either. Because that's like the main thing right now for like the NFL. You have the Carolina Panthers and then they have like Atlanta. If they were trying to build like a Carolina Atlanta type rivalry, but they had that Atlanta team before, didn't they? Like the Atlanta Thrashers or something. So they're not coming back. And they keep putting teams out west to kind of balance it. So I almost wonder if it would be more having like the border with Nashville. But again, you need to have, like, that's not even a close drive either. Like, it's a shorter drive to just go to DC and watch the Caps game. But I don't know how the NHL can fix that. Like, a lot of the northeast teams are so close that you can kind of like drive, like Columbus and Detroit have a natural Ohio State, Michigan hate for each other. So like those make sense. But like even Pittsburgh, Cleveland or Baltimore right there, like you really don't have that. So it's going to be what? The Flyers or the Caps? Maybe. And in the NFL, yeah. Pittsburgh and Philly are on the different sides. So the hatred's not really there. I don't think, like those other cities. But again, it doesn't have to be all sports though either. That's where I wonder, because they talk about having, because they added Vegas and now they added Utah. Right? So they're like, okay, now we have another rival for them. And it makes sense because out west, like it's even further spread out. Because Colorado's right there and Colorado's been good. And like I used to watch a lot of Colorado growing up, Joe Sakic and those guys, Patrick Waugh. Now they're good enough, and they probably have a hatred for Vegas for eliminating them this year. Because that was the one thing that stood out to me is following the Hurricanes all year. I felt the Hurricanes were one of the best teams, if not the best team, most talented. And normally in the playoffs, the last couple of years, they hit like a more physical team, and they just got pushed around. And then they got eliminated, and it was kind of like, oh, man, they should have did better than what they did. And the fact that Vegas came in on a heater, you look at the records, and it's like, Carolina should, like, house these guys. And then, what was the Hurricanes? Did they split 1-1? I can't remember how it started. Because, like, I think they went, was it back and forth? Where's the start of this? Yeah, the Knights won the first one. Then the Hurricanes won in overtime. And then the Knights went up 2-1. And then you know what's funny? I saw a psychic say the Hurricanes are going to win 3 games in a row to win the Stanley Cup. And that's exactly what happened. That's how I knew that I needed to go to the watch party last night. I thought, man, she's on. The only way they could win is if they win game 6, then they win 3 in a row to win the cup. Otherwise, what, they're going to lose in game 7? Because she didn't say that. She didn't say like, oh, they're going to win 3 in a row or they're going to win in game 7. Like, it was pretty definitive. Now, did I write down the psychic's name? You could give her a call, dude, see what Florida State needs to do. Like, hey, what does Florida State need to do to be good again? Do you see your boy Jameis was outside picking trash up at the World Cup?
Yeah.
I don't know if that was real. Right, because I saw a lot of memes now about like Jameis.
Well, he was doing some interviews.
Well, I know he was there, but I don't know if you've seen these, but I've seen a lot of Jameis memes now where it's like, hey, we know you guys hate Jameis, but here he is like doing this. And the one thing he was doing was like something in a town, like cleaning up a town, and it was clearly not him. And so then I thought, all right, maybe that wasn't even him at the World Cup. Because like you have a guy bending over, picking trash up, that could be anybody. So I don't know if it's like a thing that people are like using to him, like try to make him a good guy. I don't know, because I saw the one thing where they had that college football game that's coming out, and they were talking about new realistic mode, and I was going to try to send it to you. I couldn't figure out how to find it. I got like an ad where someone used like AI or something to have a segment where your player was stealing crab legs from like one of the grocery stores. And it had like the actual logo and stuff. And I thought, who goes through the time? It had to have been a Miami fan, right? Or a Florida fan? Because who would think like, all right, here's a new video game coming out. Oh man, what should I do? Something from over 10 years ago. Like, I bring it up for you because I know you get the reference, but how many people would know the crab leg story? Enough that you're going to run an ad for it.
Yeah.
On, I think it was Facebook, if I'm being honest, because I thought, oh, I could find this on Twitter. It'd be easier to send it to you. But I think I was checking Swim Team, and I think that's on Facebook only. And I got it, and I thought, who is logging into this app? Like, who is Facebook for? Where I log in, and the immediate thing is an AI video of a fake Jameis Winston stealing crab legs in a 2027 EA football game. Right? And someone decided, like, that's it. I'm going to throw an ad on that. And maybe we'll get some followers. Because that's the only reason you throw the ad up, get some followers. I don't know. It is going, driving me crazy. I know I was like kind of all over the place. But I will say that for people, because I know a lot of people that don't like sports. But there's something about going to the live events. Because I've talked about it before. Going to, doesn't have to be an expensive thing. Even if you're a fan of a different team, you don't live there. Look up and see if there's any watch parties in your area. Because I know I've gone to some restaurants where you go in, your team, like there's a bunch of fans of your team there, and it's a good experience, right? Everyone's yelling, and like a lot of people would know the cheers. Because even the Hurricanes cheers from, oh man, like 10 years ago, even before that, it's dramatically changed the game. Because the one thing that used to only be the hurricane warning, which made me laugh, because they still have the siren that they do, and it's like it has like the fake storm warning, and it's like hurricane warning. And I always joke with my buddy as a Miami Hurricanes fan, like, hurricane warning, here it comes, baby. They're gonna win 8 games in the ACC this year, and they do the hurricane whistle. I'm like, yeah. But Hurricanes finally won. The good Hurricanes, Matt, not Miami Hurricanes. They can't say that Hurricanes haven't won since 20 whatever. But I did see, I typed in Hurricanes. I was because I liked watching the celebration videos, and the first thing that came up on my feed, because it like I searched by local or whatever, it was like, do you think the Hurricanes can finally win 11 games in the ACC this year, or like playing an ACC schedule this year? I thought, oh my gosh. That's what they're trying to do, is get over 10 wins. They're just runners up, bro. Can they win 11 games? Because it was a poll, and it was like, who's going to win 11 games, Notre Dame or Miami? And I thought Notre Dame's not even in the ACC, so why is this an ACC site giving them as an option? Right? Throw that out of the water. Like, make it be Florida State or Clemson or somebody. James Franklin at Virginia Tech, he's good at winning 11 games, dude. People underestimate him. I don't know what their schedule looks like. But that brings up, I have nothing NFL-wise. Is there anything you want to talk about NFL before I keep going?
No.
Because the other thing I had for the show this week was Sorsby, which I think I'm saying his name right, where this story is so insane that I've seen so many stray bullets hitting the Big Ten that it's ridiculous. Because they're saying, hey, let this guy play. We have proof that whatever the bookie he was using or whatever, got out hundreds or tens of thousands of dollars. I think it was like 90,000 or something. And that's off my memory, so I could be wrong. So look that up. But he's betting on his own team at Indiana. Now, I did see that he was the backup, and so he might not have played in the games. But the number one rule that everyone should know from Pete Rose is Major League Baseball said, like, the reason they kept him out for all those years is because he bet on his own team. Didn't matter if he was betting on them to win. That could impact the integrity of the game, right? It could impact the team, because, like, let's say he's the manager, right? He bets on them to win. Maybe you ride your ace a little bit longer, right? Put him at risk. And I get it. right? Because I've always said, like, put him in. He but don't seem to win. Like, not a big deal. This is the quarterback betting the under, right? They have proof that he bet the under. That's not betting to win. I don't care what world you're in. I know he's a backup. He's like, all right, bet the under. If I get in, baby, we're keeping the under, right? There in no world, because like it's not like he's a red shirt. Like I think he was just the backup. So like he legit could have played, and when you're betting the under, he's not coming in and leading a comeback. If you're betting $90,000, right? I know that was like cumulative over however many, but like that's his NIL. Because who has $90,000 to just bet, right? Unless he's like so far in the hole because he kept getting loans or something. Because like you're a student, like you can just, I mean, for all we know, he could have just been taking student loans and ripping them up. Student loans, $90,000 is really nothing. Some schools, like I talked about like USC recruit me and they're like, here's your out of state tuition. It's like $100,000 a year. It's like, yeah, okay, buddy. Yeah, right. Like that's going to be perfect for me. So, and that's a private school. I don't know. He was like in Indiana or whatever. So maybe, but getting one of those loans while you're in school for that much probably wouldn't be that outlandish if that's how he's paying for it. I'm just speculating on that. Because I mean, I'm not saying like he was getting paid NIL and then he was gambling on his own team as like a whole nother thing. So then Texas Tech rallies the troops and they're throwing like bullets at Penn State saying like, nope, no one was coming after them for the Sandusky thing. I was like, yeah, they were. Yeah, they were. They took the Joe Paterno statues down. Penn State guys, they did the same thing you guys are doing. They circled the wagons. They brought it back. And guess what? They took the penalty. They paid it. And then they fought it after the fact. They didn't take it to court and say, you know what? We're not playing them. Right? Or like, we're going to keep Joe Paterno, like whatever, NCAA, we're going to keep him coaching. Like, and then what else did they I forget who else they brought up the Michigan thing with Harbaugh, but Harbaugh was suspended already for like 3 games. And then they gave him another 3 games in the middle of the season, which was unprecedented. And Michigan went to court, or we tried to go to court, right? We had that alumni group kind of come through, and that got shut down anyway. And they still suspended him out of fact, right? And that was the coach. And then it came out that he was cleared anyway after the season. They were like, all right, go to the NFL. Like, you're good. And then, because a lot of people say like, well, he got the show cause. That was for the cheeseburger thing and him not showing up as a thing because he was already in the NFL at that point. I think if Harbaugh would have stayed at Michigan one more year, it would have been way better for the optics of his college legacy. Because right now he has this hanging over him, and I don't think he cares. But if he would have stayed 1 year and showed up at the NCAA thing and had the proof about the cheeseburger or whatever, he wouldn't. I don't even know if he would have had a show cause penalty. Because all the coaches that got a show cause for Michigan were because they all went to the NFL and didn't show up to the hearing. The only one that showed up was Stallions, right? And then I don't even. Whatever happened to that? I don't even know, because he was supposed to like still be fighting that, I think. I haven't seen an update because the Sharon Moore thing, I think, blew up over top of it. But the Texas Tech guy didn't bring the Sharon Moore thing up. But the fact that they're boosters, did you see the movie? Did you see the video they put out where they're like sitting around the table? It's like the AD. I don't know if it was the AD and a bunch of like other football guys, or one of them was the donor, I thought. I don't know if he was in the same video, but they were like, we need to talk about the integrity of Texas Tech and how they put this guy in rehab and how he's been working really hard. I didn't watch the whole thing because I thought, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. And I don't even know Sorsby, like, was he even that good? Because that's the thing that's killing me. It's not like he was a sure thing, like number one. Like if it was, I know he hasn't really worked out, but if it was like Arch Manning, I don't know how this would be handled differently. Because like for me, that's the one thing Texas Tech is saying, like, we don't care what other teams do. They should leave us alone. If this was Arch Manning at Texas right now, Texas Tech would have the pitchforks out. 100%. They would be going in the opposite direction. There's no way they would be spinning this any other way. because I was looking at this. I brought up his stats right here. So what is he averaging? Like, what do you have last year? 15? No, last year was 27-5 touchdowns to interceptions. He had a 61% completion rating. Pretty good. Right. The other year was 18-7, kind of average. And I think the one record, he was like 7-6 or something. Was that last year? Because he had 4 losses in a row to end the year, where he wasn't really putting up big numbers. So him coming in as a transfer and immediately pretending he's like the top dog. First off, I don't see it. So the fact that Texas Tech was really trying to push this is just odd to me. Completely odd. And they knew he bet on the game. And they were like, yeah, but he's in rehab now. And he bet the under. Right? And to be honest, the other thing was that Oklahoma quarterback from a couple years ago, he was tweeting about gambling too. And they kind of did let that one go under the table. Because he was supposed to be, remember that was the Michigan game. I thought he was supposed to be suspended. And they were like, you know what? We're dropping this. And I don't know if they didn't have proof or how they got proof on this guy and not the other guy. That, to me, that if I was Texas Tech, that would have been the double standard that I went after. Right? Like, instead of trying to bring in the Joe Paterno thing, I would have said, bro, Oklahoma had a guy that tweeted out his bet and they then pretended it was a joke. Because that's a 1-to-1 to me. Like bringing in Harbaugh or Joe Paterno is you're just grasping at straws because that has nothing to do with your case. Where you have a situation where a guy, and like I said, maybe it's just the proof and there's nothing they could do. Like I honestly think he shouldn't have played. He declared for the NFL supplemental draft today because of all the pushback. The Big Ten had threatened not to play Texas Tech. And then I heard some things legally that they couldn't do that. Right? Because other conferences had talked about it. And I know for a fact that there would have been no way, because then Texas Tech could have took it to like federal court or whatever as part of like the agreements. And I'm sure the TV networks would have got involved and it would have been a whole new disaster. Now, what they could have done, and I know they would never do this, is you protest the game, you go to the game, and then your guys just take a knee and you just don't play. And then I'm sure the NCAA would have gave Texas Tech the win, and you're kind of like, the TV networks can't really do anything about it because they can broadcast you at the game, right? Because that's what they had talked about before. What were they going to do? They were trying to get teams to do that for whatever, probably COVID or something stupid, right? I don't remember, but they were like, that's how they can get around it. Is if it's a protest, then the courts really can't do anything because it's like the school didn't have anything to do with it. It was the players when they got there, right? So it's like a separation. You gotta have the separation, man. You can't just say like, we're not playing that team. They're cheaters, because then you got to prove that they're cheaters. And then Texas Tech's going to say, like, this guy's in rehab. Look, he hasn't gambled in years. And then last year he played. So when did they know he was like gambling? Because I think a lot of the gambling stuff was when he was at Indiana. So like, are they going to go back and forfeit the games? Because that was another thing that I saw where it was like, hey, when they found out that like so-and-so had gambled, like they forfeited all the games. So like, are they going to go back to Cincinnati now? And his time at Indiana, I don't know if he played at Indiana though, because it looks like he had 3 attempts that year, or 3 completions out of 6 attempts. I don't know how many years he was at Indiana though, because he did play a little bit in 2023. So what's the precedent, right? It looks like he played half the season in 23. Which I don't know. I mean, the name though, I wouldn't remember. Like that would have been a year Michigan would have played them, and that was Michigan's undefeated year. And I think that wasn't the year. The one year they were close to beating Michigan, and I think that was 2022. And he didn't have any stats that year, so it wouldn't have been him. And I think Blake was hurt, and like it came down to the wire. Michigan kicked the game-winning field goal or something. But that wouldn't have been him leading them. So I don't know. Could that have been the under? Who knows? Right? What if it came out that he had like thrown the game? Like people would have been flying off the handle. But that to the other thing though, you can't advertise gambling every single game and say, that's it, that's college football now. And then say, oh my gosh, players are gambling? Unheard of. Unheard of. I don't know what else they can do about it, but we'll see. Oh yeah, I had one other thing for the show this week. There was a high school program, because this one annoyed me. A lacrosse team. I don't know if they ever came back. I'm going to look this up right now to see. But initially, the lacrosse team took pictures with cigars, right? Which is a banned substance, I guess, for high school sports. Why? I don't know. And they got suspended, and from their Final Four game, the players were unable to play, so they didn't have enough people because all the seniors were in the photo. It was a graduation photo. So the MIAA, was it Massachusetts, made them forfeit. Or they basically made them ineligible, and then they had to forfeit the game. And I thought, how crazy is that? That they would go after that. Now, the parents tried to say that they had fake cigars, and they tried to recreate them. Did you see this part of the story on CBS? Where they tried to take tea, like green tea bags, and rolled cigars and took that to the school and said, like, look, this is it. And their downfall was they brought a receipt that was supposedly after the picture. Like the parents went and said, you know what? We got to have a story here. The picture was posted at whatever day, and then they went out and bought like tea bags, and they're like, this will be our proof. Why have the receipt? Just bring in the fake cigar, and then have them prove that they weren't fake. I mean, they said the one that there was puffs, right? What if the dad came in and just smoked a tea cigar? Could you do that? I don't know. Right? I think they would have had a harder time. That's why they should have called our show. They would have had a harder time proving that the kids didn't have tea cigars if you just had the tea cigar as the evidence. It's almost like the glove with OJ. They had him. And then they were like, you know what? Put it on. And all he had to do was just not do that. Like, don't have him put the glove on. Don't bring in the receipt. Right? They obviously wasn't like a great mind team here where they're like, all right, let's shore up our story. You run the food line, get a bunch of tea bags, bring that receipt. Like, the date stay up today. Everyone knows that the receipt has a date and time on it, bro. Like, that's what I understand. They're like, that's the date I bought this. Didn't even know that was real. Like, that had to have been like the most mind blowing thing where the players are probably smarter than the parents, and they're like, Dad, what were you thinking? You ruined this for us. All you had to do was, I told you to get the tea cigar, Dad. And he's like, I didn't know they would put the date on the receipt. I don't know. So the tea, like the stories are crazy. Like the tea-filled cigar cover story falls apart after they forfeit the state semifinal. And it's just more drama. Like, who cares anything about the story? But they brought proof to the school, but it was the receipt. Come on. And I see other people saying, like, it's a rule. Who made the rule? Right? When was it made? Some rules are meant to be broken. Dudes having a celebratory cigar, that's not them using tobacco. I'm sorry. Do you agree?
Yeah, I don't. Every major college is doing it at this point. I don't.
People used to smoke cigarettes and drink beers, and like people were doing blow in the locker room, like in the 70s. Like on TV, the guys are just like smoking. You like watch old coverage. He's like, they're like half naked, smoking, drinking. Like, get some beers. Because it's like the World Cup that we talked about last week, where they're like making a super tall boy. Did you see that? Did we talk about that?
No.
So they're combining 3 beers into one super tall can. right? As they're like, you can just buy a 3-in-1. Now, the price is also tripled, right? But you only have to go to the concession stand once to get 3 beers. Now, I saw people saying, like, you should sell them in stores. Yeah, because what guy wants to pop out to a store and pull out a beer as big as his forearm and stand there holding that? Right? Because they're like, it drives down the price, less packaging. Yeah, so with just putting it in like a 2-liter bottle, you don't see them doing that. Could you imagine? Like, I got my Coors 2-liter and we're just all chugging them at like the tailgate. I don't know. I don't. Some of the things for the World Cup, going back to the beginning of the show, some of the things that they're like hyping up, it just doesn't make sense. And it's all marketing. Like, all Coors is trying to do is go viral so that people can say, like, Coors Light still exists? Oh, I guess it does. Because I think it was like a Coors Light triple can. Special for the World Cup. And it's just like, okay, awesome. It's called the Taller Boy. They stretched it, Matt, so it could hold 3 beers in one giant can. Like, it almost looks ridiculous. I'm going to send you this. I don't think this is the real link, though. I don't know how to get this from my computer. But you should at least be able to see this picture if this link works, so you can see what I'm talking about. I thought it was a joke at first, because could you imagine just showing up to like a family function and you're holding a triple beer? This is like broadcast right from my dad. It's like
I have done that with my brewmate.
It's 18 inches, though. You didn't have an 18-inch tall, skinny 12-inch can. So it's as round as a 12-inch can, but it's like 18 inches. So it's like 3 cans topped on one. And the picture probably makes it look longer than what it is, because they probably were like, who has tiny hands? Hold this. We need to make it look gigantic. A normal-sized man hand's probably like half the can for mine. It's supposed to be to store and insulate 3 full Coors cans at once. So I don't know if they're selling them or what, but it's ridiculous. $30, Matt. You can buy that to help you tailgate with. Because I saw some of those at it was a bowl game I went to. Maryland at NC State, I think in Charlotte, where they had the longer beer cans so that you didn't have to come back. And I thought, yeah, that's a great idea. Great idea. Come back for that. But I think that's all I have this week. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
No.
So that's it. Congrats to the Canes. Super pumped up. I don't know. I think they're doing maybe a parade or something. I saw the guys were going to I thought he said they were going to Harris Teeter to drink beers tonight with fans. If you wanted to go, Matt. Could you imagine if Travis Kelce did that with Taylor Swift? Like, hey guys, we're going to be down at the Harris Teeter drinking beers. You want to come out? Because I think they have it there where you can. Maybe it's not Harris Teeter, maybe it's somewhere else. But I thought that some of the supermarkets, they have the little small brewing thing, local brew, where you can go in there and actually drink while you're shopping. It's like a daddy daycare where the moms go out and they're doing the grocery shopping while the dads pound a beer real fast. Because they're like, I don't need to walk around the store. Right? I do enough physical activity, but I can pound a beer here that's probably $8. And it's made with bee honey. Sweet. Just what I need. But you could do it with the Hurricanes, baby. That's a sport that's hitting home. And unless I see a team from the World Cup doing that, where they're hanging out with JJ Watt, doing whatever, I don't believe it. I think it's fake. But that's it. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week.